Owner of Talon Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of HomeFront Sitrep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talon Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talon Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talontalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
My name's Rick Ames. I own Louisville Local Entertainment, a company for music shows, promotions, and bookings in the Louisville music scene. As a veteran, it's my honor to support and sponsor local veteran-owned businesses such as HomeFront Sitrep, made by veterans for veterans. So if you're in the music business and need some help booking or promoting a show for free, look me up. Louisville Local Entertainment. And thanks for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Hey guys, Mac Verdi here with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. As rates are dropping, home values are going to start to go up. It's time to start looking if you're looking to purchase a home. That being said, we are an all-military veteran loan officer team. We know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. We are considered the experts in this field. Give us a call today. Go to our website, veteranmortgagesolutions.com. Fill out my quick form. I'll give you $500 off for closing costs. Have a great day.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome everybody to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing today? I want to say out there, all the conversation with the vet followers out there, don't be surprised that she's going live on her page today because she's on my show tonight. We get to talk with Miss Carolee. But first off, let's talk a little bit about today. How was today for you, Miss Candace?
It was amazing.
Yeah,
Like, it was a perfect day. I decided to run up to my daddy's up in southern Indiana, and we hopped on the bike and we rode. Now, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there instead of 45, but we hopped on the bike and went out like 45 minutes out, and
got to watch the eclipse.
oh, it was awesome. And I got to do it with my daddy. So
You're a veteran, yeah. So
my veteran daddy.
today was pretty cloudy here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I got to see bits and pieces through the clouds, the eclipse, and couldn't get a real good video of it or anything like that. Flaming Wood, how are you? DJ Play Nice, how are you? Let's see who else is on here. Chris
Christine
Hawks,
White.
Mike McClune, Triple Threat Vets podcast. That's a tongue twister.
See how much you love you guys.
Christine White, welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys are here. We go live on Sundays and Mondays at 7:00, and what we do, we focus on veteran service organizations from around the country that are out there, the grassroots ones, the ones that are actually still taking care of the veteran, not worrying about funding and stuff like that. They're still doing what they started out doing. And then we also bring in veteran business owners, and we bring in veterans to tell their stories. And like tonight, we get to talk with Miss Carolee from Conversations with Vets podcast, and get to hear her story and why she started a podcast focusing on veterans. So we get to talk about that, and we get to hear what's going on in her life today and how her eclipse day was and all that. What's up, Mr. Christopher Raymond? How are you, sir? Mr. Christopher Raymond is with Veteran Hundo Group. Check those guys out because they do amazing things as well. Michael Whitlatch just joined. Samuel Deeds, what's up, buddy? My buddy Sam Deeds up in Maine. Awesome. I love it.
That would have been a beautiful place to see it.
I bet it would. I bet it would. So
I know, I love it. We got the total eclipse, so that was
my beautiful wife is watching. So
look, Carolee is watching.
And Carolee's watching. Hey, how did you get on here? But anyway, let's bring Miss Carolee up to the stage. Welcome, Miss Carolee. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. It is a wonderful day. Nobody died. The world did not end. And there will be milk on the shelves tomorrow.
Maybe.
Right?
But I was so
Maybe.
disappointed. All the memes going around about people buying blow-up dolls and putting helium in them. I was like, I told my dad, I was like, I wish we were in a spot where people would have done that.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, they were talking about making it look like the rapture was happening, but
Oh
like
my
that would have been
gosh.
great just to see dolls flying
So Deed says it was 100% coverage up in Maine. I would have loved to seen that. Did you get a good video of it, Sam? Hopefully you did.
It was where I was too. I'm telling you what, that was amazing. Like, it really was. It was amazing to see. I'm so glad I didn't stay in Louisville.
Yeah, unfortunately I was working. Your daddy's watching, by the way.
I know it. Hi, Daddy.
Your vet's watching. So Miss Carolee, how are you? How was your day?
Well, I'm good. As I said, I was working, so I got to watch the sun kind of dissipate. It also overcast here in Tennessee. It looked like it was just gonna really pour rain. That's the extent of what we saw. Couldn't really see anything. As I said, I was working. Just happened to be near a window, but that was the extent.
Gotcha.
Yeah, doing good.
Well, do me a favor, for my listeners and my watchers out there. Introduce yourself and give a little bit of your backstory. Not too much, just a little bit.
Sure. So my name is Carolee, and I actually have 2 Marine sons, and for a very long time, I had been trying to figure out what I could do to honor our veterans. And I got involved. How I got involved in this was I actually got involved. I was at a shooting range, and I met a gentleman there, and he has a YouTube podcast, a 2A podcast. And so for those of you out there, y'all know who I'm talking about. Go Ivan. And so, gosh, I remember he only had like 100 or 200 subs at the time, and now he's, gosh, like 26,000.
Oh man.
And yeah, he's really moved up quite a bit. But I mean, he works it hard. So have to definitely give credit where credit's due. It's called I'm Not From This Planet, ITT. So I thought, that's great, right? It's a kind of a neat way to get what you want out. And I thought, I could probably do something like that, but for veterans, right? And give them a place that they could come on, tell their story, whatever that may be, and in whatever form it is. I mean, if they want to come on and talk about their dog for 2 hours and it makes them feel better, I don't care, right? This is their time, it's their platform. And so I talked about it for a while. I talked with Ivan, and he'd even had a show with several podcasters or YouTube channels talking about how, they went about starting their channel. And I kind of threw out there, any suggestions on how to go about it. And overwhelmingly, it was just do it. That was the response. And so I still kind of set myself back. And, I've growing up always one of those kind of people that I don't want attention on me. So this was a huge step. I mean, this was completely out of my comfort zone. But I jumped in with both feet. I bought myself a pretty good gaming computer that was going to be able to deal with all of my videos and streaming and just on and started out slow. And here I am today. So yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of my background.
No, I love it. I love it. So you got into podcasting because your sons are in the military still. They're still on active duty. You got one that's getting ready to not re-enlist.
Yeah.
And then you got another one that's in his school right now that's going through a med board, which we're not going to get into that tonight because that's probably stir up a little bit of its hornet's nest.
Right. I don't understand why.
So we're not going to get into that. We're going to keep it positive tonight. I think the last time we spoke, you said everything seemed like it was going in a better direction. So I'm hoping that's still the case.
Me too.
Hopefully, is one of your kids on tonight?
He is. So,
his name?
child,
What's his
if
name?
you're listening, please make sure after the show you call your mom.
Well, there's
I know. I gotta give you crap
there's
though.
Killian.
Good
Very
job. He
good.
did it.
So,
We're so proud of
and
you,
then
Marie.
I don't. What's the other kid's name?
Grant.
I was gonna say I don't think
Yeah.
I ever heard that your other son's name, but
Yeah.
So is Grant watching or is
He
it
is.
Killian? Okay.
Hi,
I don't know
Grant.
that Killian is, but Grant is on.
Well, welcome to the show, Grant. I'd like to hear your story someday from your perspective. Once you get out on your, get done with your med board and stuff, because don't want you to get in trouble with upper command if you come on the show and talk about your experience right now. So once you get out, have your mom reach out to me and we'll get you on the show and talk about your experience
we want your boy.
of your Marine Corps experience. And then I'll get you hooked up with, or actually your mom can get you hooked up with Tab Bartley as well, which hers is the Oath We Took podcast, which focuses strictly on Marine veterans. So we can get you connected with her as well and tell your story to her listeners as well. So you've been podcasting for a while.
Since October.
Since October. So you got 129 videos. And I'm assuming that's, shorts and everything else that goes along with that.
Yeah, mostly shorts. I do generally a live show once every Sunday night. I exclude holidays, give people a break, and hope that they spend time with family. So
there you go. I do the same thing, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, holidays. Yeah, holidays I kind of try to stay away from. This year,
Except for
Father's
Veterans Day.
Well, Veterans Day, we were at Mission Barbecue, and we had a pretty big event there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Actually, we had 2 podcasts. We were in split locations
Mm-hmm.
that day. My sister-in-law, my wife's sister, at her church, they had Serving Up Christ with veterans. We covered that, and then we also covered it was the 30th anniversary of
Black Hawk Down.
Operation Gothic Serpent. So we were at Mission Barbecue, and we got to talk with a lot of veterans that were, present for the war in Somalia during Operation Gothic Serpent and stuff like that. It was pretty neat.
Sergeant Major.
And then Sergeant Major Brown, who's 96.
Wow.
Oh, he's a feisty little thing in his red Camaro.
Yeah, he drives I thought it was a Corvette.
No, it's a red Camaro.
Okay, red Camaro.
We're just gonna leave the name out.
Yeah. We're gonna leave.
I mean, it is a veteran podcast, but
yeah. Let's just say it's the name. The initials is PG, and I'm just gonna leave it there. Let your mind do the imagination.
The second word we can get is
getter.
Getter.
Yeah,
it's a P getter.
It's a P getter.
Got it.
He's 96 years old. He's a rotten old man.
Yes.
I got it.
He's a Marine.
I don't need a drawing.
Yeah, he's a Marine through and through. Let's just put it that way. He's 96 years old. I tried to get him on the podcast.
Oh, he is a trip.
But he's, his granddaughter is his caretaker. And she was like, well, you'll have to come where we are to do the podcast.
Oh, I'll go see him. I'll go up there.
But here's the thing. There's no internet there. So you can't go live. You'd have to record it. And it's in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
No, you know where we're going to get him? At the wall.
Ooh. We
could.
Yeah.
We can get him at the wall.
We could.
But, sorry, squirrel.
So you've had some great guests on your show recently. So you had Air Force veteran Marquita Oliver, who is with She Rose, because I've had her on my show as well.
Oh, she had James Thornton. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had JT. You had JT on your show. She had JT Cooper and James Thornton, so she had both of those guys.
How is his only an hour and a half? That man don't know when to shut up. I can say that. Look, he was my brother-in-law twice, so I can say whatever I want about.
Yeah. You had Andrew Ferrer. You had JT Collins, which is JT Cooper. Chris Godwin. God, you've had all kinds of great guests on your show. So how do you go about reaching out to these veterans? Do they reach out to you, or do you reach out to them, or how do you reach out to these veterans? We can't hear you. We lost you there for a second.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Gotcha. A little bit of both. And I started with talking to my kids, specifically Killian, and said, hey, I know you have veteran buddies. I know you know a lot of them. And can you hook me up? I do some sublimation. So I've done coffee mugs, and I did one for a husband and wife. One was a Coast Guard veteran, and the other was SEAL Team 5 veteran. And sent those off and friends of his. And so I knew, he had some guests, but he wasn't able to get anybody to commit. I had already set my date for my first show, and it was getting really close, and I still didn't have a guest. I was with my husband, and we had gone to Kentucky for LS Fest. And so his company sponsors one of the drivers at LS Fest. And I was introduced to the guy, and I said, hey, we got on the subject of YouTube because, of course, he has a YouTube channel, and said, this is what I'd like to do. And he just, that's neat. Didn't really say anything. And we go to leave hours later, and he comes up to me and he gives me a hug, and which was surprising, and I was like, okay. And he kind of says in my ear, by the way, when you get that YouTube channel up and running, give me a call. I'm a veteran.
Oh,
And I'm
nice.
like, sweet. Okay. So I get it going. I call him first and I said, okay, this is what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, not a problem. And it was like a couple days before the show, he sends me a message and he says, I got to cancel. I forgot I had a wedding to go to in
Oh,
another
no.
state. And I was just, oh, what am I going to do? I mean, I'd been promoting it, right? I mean, just doing little shorts. Hey, be sure to join me. This is what I'm going to do.
Right.
So we went to a veteran, I forget what the holiday was. I'm really bad with dates and names, but we went to a gathering where all the veterans would get together and like sell their wares, try and, fundraising and stuff like
Okay.
that. And there was a gentleman there, he was a Vietnam era veteran, and we started talking, really nice gentleman. He was going on about all the things that they did, which was provide for other veterans things like ramps and mobility equipment, things that, most wouldn't have access to for whatever reason. So, and I said, I'm looking for a guest. My first guest, unfortunately, was not able to make it. Would you be interested? And he said yes. And so that's kind of where the start was. So he was my very first guest, Phil LaPrade, a Vietnam era veteran, um, and just a wonderful guy. Sent me photos afterwards too of a ramp, a wheelchair ramp that he and somebody had helped build for a veteran. He's very involved in the community and the county that we're in. So it was just a great thing. I mean, I was scared to death, of course. I go through and do all my prep work, and I'm sure you understand doing your own podcast when
Mhm.
you get somebody on the show who you ask a question and you get like a 1 or 2 syllable word response.
Yes.
And so that's how it started. And so thankfully, I had some questions prepared. And it was probably 2/3 of the way through where he finally just kind of relaxed, forgot he was on camera, and went. And he really, afterwards, I had him backstage and we were just talking for a little bit. And he said he really enjoyed it. Um, and in fact, I was just thinking about him the other day that I need to reach out and see how he's doing. Um, and then the next guest was my guest who was supposed to be my first guest. So,
Nice.
and just very animated. I mean, I asked one question pretty much, and that was, tell me about your childhood. And he
Mhm.
went for like 2 hours,
Oh,
Oh,
man.
wow.
off and running. Um, Great man, I'll tell you. Absolutely great guest. And he was on the show again. I'd invited just a handful of people when I hit 100 subscribers, and he was one of them. And I kind of went around and asked how everybody was doing. And he's like, oh, I'm really glad you asked. And he said that he had been in jail at one point,
Mm.
prior to all of this, and one of his bunkmate, whatever you want to call him, had been there, and he had kind of turned a whole new leaf, and he got out, and the other got out, but they got back in contact a couple of weeks, maybe a month before I hit my 100 subs, and he said that this buddy from jail had said, come with me. I'm doing a speaking engagement at a prison. And he's like, well, okay. And I guess there were like 10 speakers total, but they'd saved him for last.
Mm.
He's like, I tore the roof off. And so then from that, he ended up getting a card from somebody for pertaining to mental health and doing speaking engagements.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
here he went from, and not to say he doesn't still drift and race cars and things of that nature, but now he's into doing all of these speaking engagements to people so
Nice.
that, to understand that, I've been where you're at. I've been in trouble. I've had thoughts of suicide. I even went so far as to dangle myself from a bed sheet.
Mm.
And thankfully the knot came undone and down I went. So, you know, I mean, it was just, it warmed my heart to know that I had a hand in helping him to one, get that story out. And he said it was just really cathartic for him.
Yeah, definitely.
And it just went from there. So people would then introduce me to other veterans, or I would ask, if you have a couple veterans that you know of, let me know. And they would do that. So, because one of my biggest fears is having somebody with stolen valor on.
Yeah, definitely.
But I feel weird saying, let me see your DD 214. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit it, you know, when I look for my guests and stuff like that, I do a deep dive into the organization, or
Mhm.
if they're on Facebook. A lot of times it's word of mouth. Um,
Right.
you know, like people that I know will say, "Hey, you need to interview this guy, or you need to interview this person or this person." And then, like with the organizations, what I do with those is I do a deep Google. You know, I look at Google, I look at anything that I can search to find about that organization, and uh, I mainly focus on, like I said, the grassroots ones. You know, the ones that are still, they care about the veteran and not where the funding's coming from. Now,
Right.
granted, every organization out there needs funding to do what they do, but I'm, you know, the ones that are actually willing to collaborate with other organizations and stuff like that. And
Yep.
you know, we started out doing audio only first, and then we moved into, you know, doing video and audio. And I think when we, you know, went from audio only into video, I think that opened our audience, you know, it made our audience more broad, because a lot of people watch, you know, on YouTube and stuff like that, and Facebook Live. And um I love what you're doing, because you're giving a veteran a platform to talk about whatever. It not strictly just their military career, but whatever they want to talk about. And
Yep.
and the
With a
more
few exceptions. I try very hard to steer away from politics, actually. I
same.
guess that's the only one. But occasionally, you know, some
It
of the
happens.
questions tied to politics, you know, so like, or it ends up that way. Like, you know, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on the VA?
Yeah.
Invariably, we go into politics. So
I was banned from talking about the VA or any other.
that's right. That's right. No VFW either.
Yeah, no VFW
I'm
either.
not allowed. Positive things only. So I'm just going to keep.
So what Candace is talking about, for you guys that are, you know, watching on Carolee's YouTube channel, is Carolee is one of our newest members of Tip of the Spear, a Veterans Roundtable, which we do on the last Wednesday of every month. And the last one, we were got into a little bit of a heated debate
Oh
about
gosh,
the
yeah.
VFWs and AMVETs and stuff like
It
that.
wasn't supposed to.
It
And I
was.
didn't even know we were going to talk about the
I
VFW.
know that's kind of the thing with the round table, is you never know what topic's going to come up.
Right.
And um, some people, you know, have had great experiences with the VFW. Some people have had bad experiences, but overall, the VFW is a great organization that's supposed to help veterans, yeah, of foreign war, AMVETS for veterans that didn't go to war, that served during peacetime. Um, so,
I'm just going to sit here and smile.
so yeah, but
You're
it
doing
got
great,
heated.
Candace.
So,
I'm going to get fired again.
so you when we go live on Tip of the Spear, normally we go to, you know, everybody's page, their YouTube channel and stuff like that. So that, like I said, it's the last Wednesday of the month, unless it's a holiday, then we'll try to go the Wednesday before the holiday. Yeah, but other than
It's a
that,
good time though.
no, it's a great
And
time.
like talk about different
Uh,
perspectives. Like
Yeah.
it's an awesome thing to be a part of.
Well, you know, and if
It
you
is.
are a veteran podcaster and you're watching, and you want to be a part of, you can email me at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. And what the whole plan of the Tip of the Spear is, if I can't make it one Wednesday, then somebody takes my spot. And that's kind of what we're trying to do there. And which I think most Wednesdays I'm going to be there because my kids are usually at youth group at church, and my wife is usually at her mom's group or um, her women's group or whatever. So, but no, man. So out of all of your guests that you've had,
I wonder what question you're going to ask because I have one.
Out of all the guests that you've had, who was your most favorite guest?
Oh,
Be careful. Be
Put it on-
careful. They might
It
be
is.
watching.
right. It's very difficult because every single guest brings something different to the table.
Mhm.
And I really like those that have no filter. I know that sounds funny for coming from me because I'm one of those. I try not to cuss. I've always been that way, right? You get in trouble from a little age on up, and
Right.
so I don't generally cuss. However, I have made it clear to my guests, this is your platform, and you talk however you care to talk. I had a guest on, and he Marine also, as a matter of fact, and that was Jason Morrison. And prior to the actual live show starting, I was having a conversation with him, and every other word out of his mouth, cuss word. And he goes, "Oh, sorry." And I told him, this is your show. This is how, if this is what you want to say, then say it. So at the start, I did a little disclaimer and I said, just beware. If that bothers you, probably you might want to skip this show. And that's how he expresses himself. And I've had a lot of veterans who are very animated, and but I think I kind of sound funny. I think the funniest one that I had was a gentleman who, when I called to set this up, he said to me, "Well, I don't know that I have anything to talk about." And I was like, "Well, that's okay. Everybody sees things differently."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, all right, I'll do it." So he came on and he talked about airplanes. He was a pilot. Um, and I'd say 2 hours in, he says, "Do you mind if we take a break?" And I was like, "No, not at all." He goes, "We've only been at it for about an hour." And I was like, "Sure, let's go with that." And then he comes back and we talk for another hour. And I was like, so 3 hours total. And I'm like, I kind of need to wrap this up. And he's like, "Well, it hasn't been that long, has it?" I was like, "Well, we're coming up 3 hours." And he was like, "I cannot believe it. I swore I didn't have anything to talk about."
Those are the best shows, though. I mean, the
Mhm.
ones that just go on, the conversation just flows so easily.
Mhm.
I had Cletus Evans on, who's a Marine Corps.
Oh, goodness.
So Cletus is he was enlisted, then he went CWO, Chief Warrant Officer, and then now he's with the Marine Corps League. He runs the Toys for Tot program in Louisville, Kentucky. And that man literally, when we did the first episode with him, he just talked and talked and talked and talked, which was amazing because Cletus is somebody that I respect the most. I mean, because he's just one of those people that is straight to the point. He's blunt. He tells you like it is. And I am scared of you, woman.
It's live right there, Julie. Live.
Sorry, my wife said, I wish this is what she said. But no, Cletus is one of the guys that he is just he's down to earth, but he is straight to the point and he gets shit done. And if he needs you to help, he's going to call you up and say, "Hey, I need your help."
I
And,
drive that man crazy.
and I would drop what I'm doing to go help Cletus because that's just the type of person he is. He would do the same thing for me.
You know what he did for me in Mass? So
What?
I bought a new car back in November, and then my dumb butt goes and tries to move to Massachusetts. Well, my tags expired while I was up there. So I had to have somebody go down to Mall Draw and get my tags from the dealership and mail it to me like overnight. And so Cletus is like, "Yeah, I'll go do it." Like went from an event from Prospect all the way to Mall Draw
Oh, dang.
to pick up my tags and then overnighted them to me. And
I
like,
thought they were mailing them to you.
no, they
Hmm.
wouldn't mail them there because they said they didn't trust the post office. But like this man, like he'd give you the shirt off his back. That's just who he is. But yeah, I drive him crazy on purpose. I love it.
But no,
But
yeah,
this-
Awesome.
he's amazing, and I've been doing this podcast is I've been doing it since a little over a year.
Mm.
It was 2 years in the making for me. When I left my last veteran service organization that I was involved with, I had a really bad taste because I got burned. So I took a hiatus from doing what I love doing, um, and I had thought about doing a podcast, and that's what my mindset was. I need to do a podcast, and so I took a break. And when I decided to do the podcast, I started researching all the other veteran podcasts that were out there and seeing what they were talking about and what they were doing and where we were lacking. And what I noticed that nobody was focusing on veteran service organizations from around the country.
Mm.
So I was like, that's our niche. That's where we're going to get in. That's where we're going to do what we're doing. And granted, it has evolved from just focusing on veteran service organizations to the veterans and the veteran business owners and stuff like that,
and the podcasters, like I
and
love it.
podcasters. And we started a great thing with Tip of the Spear.
Mhm.
We started out with myself, Triple Threat Vets, I Am Pitts podcast, the Decision Hour, and Misfit Nation, which Rich was very instrumental in me doing video podcasts with Misfit Nation. He's like, hey, you need to start doing video. And he told me about StreamYard and stuff like that. And then we grew. We added you, Miss Carolee, and then we add Tab Bartley, and then I think we got a couple more people that might be joining soon. I'm hoping. I'm still in talks with them and stuff like that. And I'm like you when it comes to with my guest. I like all the guests that we've had, like, because everybody brings a different story to the table, and
Exactly.
I like hearing about the like an organization, the Hope Project down in Florida,
Mhm.
or Wayward Warrior Ranch in Bristol, Virginia, or Warriors Next Adventure, or Mission 22. I love hearing all the different stories and how things come about. And when I have a guest that's like cut and dry, like you said, one or two word answers, it's like, bro, because we started out doing, I had questions written down, and it kind of got to the point where it was kind of scripted, yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is just not flowing. It just wasn't flowing very well. And so we kind of went to conversational based, and everybody seemed to like it 100 times better than what we were doing. And now, granted, I still, when I'm talking to these different organizations, I have questions that come up in my head automatically. Like,
Mhm.
do you focus on just male veterans, or you do female veterans as well? Do you focus with the families? And what does your organization do? Like last night we had Matthias Carter on,
Mhm.
who's an Army veteran. He wrote a book called Instead of Sheep, A Soldier's Way of Explaining PTS to his son.
Oh, she would love
That's
him.
cool.
You would
You
you would love
love
Matthias.
him.
Ratman, what's up, Ratman?
Hi, Ratman.
And then he's also the outreach coordinator for the Road Home program at Rush,
Oh, it's amazing.
which
Oh, it's so amazing.
they do amazing things for veterans. And Matthias told us last night that he's been having issues like with his PTS and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
as the outreach coordinator, he put himself in their intake
Mhm.
program that they have.
Yeah, they're impatient.
And he said, this is the first time I told anybody. Nobody knows that I went in that I went in intake. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you're sharing that with me, because that lets people know that, hey, you're helping people, but you still struggle too, and you need help yourself. So
And the program works.
and the program works.
But
Right.
I
That
think
counts
that's
for a
one
lot.
really great thing. Like you being a military mama. Now, is your husband a veteran?
No.
Okay. I was just curious with you having two boys in the Marines. And then you being a veteran and the organizations you've been a part of, as we know, like I've been a part of organizations for 20
Mhm.
years. So even having that conversational piece with these people, whether it's civilian or veteran or whatever the organization is, it's something that we look for because maybe the organizations we were part of or things that we've been involved in, you notice the things that we're lacking So it's great having this long conversation with somebody, and then our brains go, wait, do you do this? And like, what about that? And like, what's your avenue on this? So yeah, I mean, it's a great way to learn things, just being involved. But
Hmm.
where I think it would be really hard for somebody that's never seen something like that to have a conversation with somebody and ask those questions.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's wonderful. I think like a mix of all of the podcasts that we have going around, especially the ones in Tip of the Spear, like
Mhm.
Right.
the different things that we all focus on. It's awesome. Like it's just so awesome. All the different things you can learn. I mean, because what triple threats last night at the
Yeah,
um
they
the
so triple.
celebrity veteran softball game down in Texas. Like it was just so cool. All these
That
different
is
things.
cool.
Yeah, so they
And it
were.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's really interesting too. For me, one of the things that I try and focus on with my veteran guests are the resources
Mhm.
that they either knew about before they got out, before they transitioned, or what they utilized once they transitioned after
Right.
Mhm.
fact. And a lot of them didn't use anything.
Mm.
They didn't know of anything. They struggled through everything for a long period of time. I mean, things like drug addiction, alcohol addiction, just all those things. And they dealt with it silently, or maybe not so silently, depending upon who the guest was. But what I found was everybody has different resources that worked for them. They're
Mhm.
Yeah.
not all the same.
Mm-mm.
And so I make it a point to ask what resources they used and what resources are they aware of in their state,
Right.
because other veterans are listening. I think I have viewers from every state but two. So,
What 2
veteran or
states?
not,
What are we looking for?
gosh, I am not sure. Let me see. I should go out there and peek at this, right? Let's see.
We gotta
Because
know.
now I am curious to know. Let's take a gander.
So my wife just put in here that I always say ask the next hard question, but if you don't know uh, what to ask is difficult, knowledge is essential to being,
It's
I
over there
know,
too.
successful in that. No, I agree. I do. I always say ask that next hard question because I can go up to a veteran or just another random human and say,
Mhm.
"Hey, how you doing?" And most of the time they're going to say, "I'm good." But you can look in somebody's eye and or eyes. I don't want to say eye
Mhm.
because then are they wearing a patch? But you can
Maybe.
look at somebody in their eyes and see that something is actually going on.
Mhm.
So that's why you got to ask that next hard question: How are you really doing?
Mm.
And a lot of times people will open up. Now, if it's just some random stranger, more than likely they're not going to open up. But if it's somebody you know and you care about, um, you can definitely tell when something's going on. Like my wife can tell
Exactly.
you that there's days that she can just look at me and know something's wrong, and vice versa. I can look at her and I notice something is wrong, or Candace, or and people that you care about.
Do you really know though?
I do.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. But you know what? Sometimes that stranger feels more comfortable talking to a stranger because you're not biased, you're not judging, and some of the greatest conversations of people opening up have been with people that have never met me before
Mhm.
because they just have this different kind of comfort.
So good
Yeah.
news. I actually have hit every single state.
Oh,
So I have viewers now from every state.
Woohoo! I was
I
gonna say, we
know.
gotta find some people.
That makes me happy. And I can tell you the countries that are listening.
same.
It blows me away, some of those countries that are listening.
Isn't that awesome?
Now, I have had some trolls, not gonna lie,
Uh,
right? Um,
you were just talking about that today.
and it's interesting the things that they get all upset about.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
I had my highest
Hey, Rich.
Hey, Rich.
grossing uh, my highest grossing video was over 10,000 views. It was a short, and it was pretty much just talking about how um, people in SOF, how they have, they're like artists and songwriters and, all these different things that you wouldn't expect. And that video just blew up I it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. But some of the things that they were talking about, it was just like, no, no, that's really not conducive to this video. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
You
So
know,
what is the name of that video?
let's see.
Is it the Jason Lee Morrison one that's got
It
10,000
is.
views? All right, let's do
Yep,
this.
that's
Let's
the one.
since you're talking about it, we're gonna play it.
Julie said
Okay.
I would move to where you didn't have a listener. She is just hoping you don't have one in Florida.
All right, here we
Julie,
go.
that's so sweet. But yes, I do.
So this is Jason Morrison
She just
here.
wants to move somewhere warmer.
Let's
The thing is about special operations guys is the funny thing is too that most of us are artists at the heart of it. I've seen so many guys come out of it and be like painters or writers or musicians or whatever, and it's like, what the fuck, really? And because most of us don't think the same way that most other military guys think. The thing is about special operations guys is the funny thing is too that
Yeah,
most
it's just on repeat.
all right.
But over 10,000 views for that. And so, as I said, some of the comments, I just had to say, sorry, it's just not appropriate. And people think that because the comments are open, that it's okay. Let's throw stuff out there that's political and a bunch of nonsense not pertaining to what it is we're doing. And I think somebody had posted, I'll never buy your book and I'll never this and I'll never that. And it was like, well, first off, right. I know, not that I have a book, but Jason does have a book. Jason Morrison does have a book. And that's the only time you will hear me cuss. If I could find the book.
Oh, do it. Come on, Carolee.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on.
We want to hear it.
Okay. Yeah, right. You're going to want to record this.
We're gonna put it on a loop with Willis saying he's scared of his wife.
Okay, so this book is from Jason Lee Morrison. It's called The Perfect Fucking Life, and it's an anthology. So yes, this is the only time you're really going to ever hear me cuss outside of this, and my kids can definitely vouch for that. But in his book, it's not like it's telling tales. Okay, that's not what this is. A lot of this are momentary thoughts that he had while he was in the military. Like,
oh, wow.
Give me one line.
Yeah.
And that's it, in a page.
Huh.
This was what he thought, not about any particular moment, not anything that led up to it, right? These are just his thoughts on how he thought things were at that time.
Yeah.
At that given time. And he, when I talked to him, he's working on a second book that talks about now that he's been out, how he sees things.
Yeah.
What's it called?
He didn't have a name at that time.
Oh, okay. I was waiting. Can we get another word out of her?
that being said, I have another book.
You need to know the name of that book again. What was
the first one? You just want me to say that again, don't you?
Well, no, I want to put it in the comments so people can look it up.
The Perfect Fucking Life.
By Jason.
That was great. It was great here.
Jason Morrison. I know, right? I'm going to see this on a loop. Y'all are going to send this to me in an e-card.
It just flows. It just flows.
The tip of the spear. I'll be like, Carolee, what was the name of that book?
Oh my gosh. I have to do one of these. It's called the cover my face.
Hi. What's his name?
Jason Morrison. Jason Lee Morrison.
Yes. And he's the one. He is very outspoken when it comes to cursing. Like that's how he expresses himself. He will tell you that. His call sign is Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's got the Elvis style going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, of course, this is nothing that when he looked like when he was overseas in, with Ramadi and all of that. So it's quite interesting. Now, the other author that I have I've had a total of 3. They all know each other.
Oh, wow.
The first one is Lee Deckelman, and his book, that's the cover of his book. And he actually had somebody paint this for him. based off of what he told them he was looking for. And it's called Internal Volume.
Nice.
Now, this is a little more in depth, right? This talks about his specific struggles, the things that he had to deal with. And some of them, I'm telling you, as a female, I was cringing, okay? Because this is what happened to a male. But even still, I was like, ow. But he would tell the story that, you know, when he transitioned back and he'd be driving down the road and a vehicle would cut him off, you know, his thought is kill, right?
Yeah.
How do you get out of that mentality? His internal volume was at a 10. And so he did some great things trying to figure out how to bring that internal volume down to a manageable level. And he got involved in yoga, of all things. And so this book is basically how, as he said it, a monster becomes mindful. And so it's really interesting. And it's very raw in the sense that there's a lot of things I'm sure he probably could have put in this book, but this was just about him, right? And what he dealt with. And he would drop names, of course. He'd say, at this point in time, I met this person. And at this point in time, I met this person, etc. So, but yeah, absolutely great person. And then he introduced me to Jason Morrison.
Nice.
And then Jason Morrison introduced me to Kirk Spradley. And Kirk Spradley is also an author, and he is now waiting for the DOD to finish redacting everything before it can get published. So I'm really excited for him to have that come out. His book, Kirk Spradley, another great guest. So I'd be happy to introduce you guys. And I know he would love it. It would be great for his book to get that out to the public.
Yeah, for sure.
And he is an airline pilot now. And then he introduced me to Jim Donow. And then he's the one who was the 3-hour show who said, I don't think I have anything to talk about.
I don't have anything to talk about.
And I mean, just excellent though. I mean, I have such laughs with a lot of these people. Because I try and find where their humor was at any given point in the service. To me, that's important to try and kind of lighten things up a little bit, because we tend to get pretty heavy. So, you know, I asked the question about any funny stories while you were in boot camp or basic training. Do you have any stories that you can think of that were funny, you know, while you were here or there? Because it takes them back, yes. I mean, but they're already a lot of times in that moment.
Right.
But then it just kind of flips that switch a little bit, and it takes them out of that seriousness into a good moment.
Yeah, lets them open up a little bit. Because I know when I was on your show, that was one of the questions you asked me about, you know, a funny story or something like that from boot camp or, you know, time in service. And, it, you know,
What story did you tell?
I don't even remember what story I told.
Not being thrown into traffic in Okinawa?
No, I didn't tell that story.
It's funny now.
No, that was not the story, but that will be a story I want to hear.
Hi, Mom.
So when we were in Okinawa, there was me and 2 other Marines. We had our camelbacks, and I had Jim Beam and Coke in my camelback, and I think they had beer in their camelback. And technically, we were not supposed to be drinking, but we could drink. It was a very slippery. Hey, it was a very
just don't
slippery.
Get caught.
Yeah, don't get caught. Well, one of my buddies decided that it would be fun to throw me in traffic.
Oh no.
Yeah. Luckily, the car stopped, Um, it bumped me, but it stopped in time. Hey, Joe, how are you, sir? But at the time it was funny, but not funny because I could have died.
It's funny now.
But it's funny now looking back on it, and
Because
I
you
don't know, 'cause I
survived.
know
Of
the
course
person
it's
that did
funny
it,
now.
it'll not be funny
yeah,
anymore. It was funny until I met the person that did it, and now it's just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was probably really scary at the time, and I can see how.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he
easily.
he was so typical. Well, I don't even want to say
Marine?
typical. I don't want to say typical Marine because he's not.
He is the
He's
stereotypical.
atypical.
He's
Yeah,
a
he's
stereotypical Marine.
Oh, okay.
He was
That's coming from a civilian.
so
That's how I'm gonna say
most Marine. All right, so you got your Army guys here, you got your Marine guys here. Well, he was here above most normal Marines on the crazy level. Yeah, I did, but I didn't die.
it. Not that time. He didn't.
But no, and we were in Okinawa outside of Gate 2 Street, outside of Kadena Air Force Base. And, over there, they drive crazy over there. I mean, literally, you get in a cab and they're driving 100 mile an hour to get you where you need to go. And it was just, it was crazy.
You don't have to lie about what was in your Camelback. We know you melted down the crowns and filled it up.
No, I had them in my cargo pockets.
See, Carolee raised her boys like strictly on coloring books all the time. They just got addicted to them.
I'm telling you what, Killian is the crayon eating champion.
Mm-hmm. What's their favorite flavor? Both of them.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I think
Hey Saga,
Killian
if you're
said
out there, put your favorite color out there.
I think
Come on,
Killian said
Grant.
red.
Red, probably.
Yeah, I think he did say red.
That's so typical.
Purple is great though. What's not to like about that, right?
I had a Marine tell me one time his favorite was Bud Light Blue.
Bud Light Blue.
And then a very good friend of mine that passed not too long ago, Big Mike, like his was lavender.
Yeah, that was so Big Mike. So we were talking about Cletus a while ago.
Mm-hmm. Was his right hand man.
Cletus. So Cletus is white, and Big
Cletus.
Mike was and Big Mike. Everybody called him Black Cletus because him and Cletus, literally, the only thing different between the two was the skin color.
Yeah.
So everybody called Big Mike, who recently passed away, rest his soul. Always called him Black Cletus, and
favorite flavor was lavender.
He would introduce himself as, "Hey, I'm Black
yeah,
Cletus."
Absolutely.
That's
on the phone and everything.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, the guy.
That's great.
So Cletus, like I said, Cletus is really involved with the Marine Corps League, and here locally in Louisville, they do Bikes or Bust, which is around early November, if I remember correctly, late October, early November.
Yeah.
And they partnered with Q103, which is a radio station. The DJs, they get on a scissor lift in two different locations. One's at UAW 862 Union Hall. They stay on a lift for 5 days straight. And people come drop off bikes and gift cards and helmets and knee pads and gloves and stuff like that for the children. And so what they do is they take that and they give it I think it's Toys for Tots gets some, and Salvation Army or the Boys and Girls Club.
There's several people involved in the Bikes or Bust.
Yeah, and so and then they donate. They give these bikes to these different organizations so kids can get a bike for Christmas. And to hear Cletus tell that story, how that got started, will bring a tear to your eye. Because when they first started, it was a Boys and Girls Club, and these kids, they didn't have bikes, and they come from underserved communities. And he said that they took the bikes up to the Boys and Girls Club and gave them to the kids. And one of the kids got a bike, and he would not let that bike go. And he's like, "Well, can I take this bike home?" And then he said, "Can I have a bike for my brother?" And it will, if you hear Cletus tell that story, it will bring a tear to your eyes, because
Cletus is a big softy too.
Yeah, Cletus is a big softy. But no,
most Marines are.
Most of us are.
I've had several Marines. It's it seems when they hear that I'm a mom or mother of Marine, that it's a lot easier for them, I think, to turn around
Mhm.
and say, "Yeah, let's do this."
Mhm. They get
So
excited.
I actually, one of my guests that I had, um, we he lived right here in the same town, which I did not know. He is very active. Plug your ears, Candace. He's very active in with the VFW.
No, it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful.
I just have to razz you because
So is Matthias. He's a
Yeah.
commander, the one we had last night.
yeah, and so this one, he's actually so he was commander of the VFW, the local VFW here, and I know if he isn't, I think he will be soon, um, the district commander.
Mhm.
And as I said, I mean, very, very vocal in the community, get a lot of outreach, and I was inundated with stuff. It was like the very first moment I talked to him, I'd seen him on because one of the things I wanted to do a video of how to properly, um, I don't know if destroy is the proper word. I know there's another term for it, but how to lay to rest a flat.
Retire.
Retire. Thank
Retire.
you. See, I'm bad with like words.
All right, Mama. We got you.
So anyway, and I called a veteran that I knew and I said, "Hey, do you know of anybody who would do this? We've got a fire pit here. I know how it goes. But I would love to be able to have that and put out for the average American, right? You don't just toss them in the trash. There,
Mm-mm.
you cannot let it touch the ground. Everything has to be done with dignity."
Hmm.
And he said, "Well, they just had done some, so we don't have any that we could do." And I was like, "Okay." And I was scrolling through Facebook locally, and somebody had like 2 or 3 flags that they wanted to retire, but they didn't know where to go, who to do it.
Mhm.
And this gentleman had piped up and said, "Just bring him to the house and I'll get him done." And I just kind of clicked on the profile, and it was Andrew, who turns out was um, the commander of this particular post. And so I said, "Hey, thank you for doing that. And by the way, my name is and I'm with and would you be interested in coming on the show?" And I said, "If you are, here's my number." And within 30 seconds, he's calling me.
Oh
Like
man.
this man, great personality. I tease him, tell him he is an absolute overachiever. He he does so much,
Right.
but and for him, I think it almost feels like it's never enough, right?
Mm-mm.
Um, but it just goes to show for veterans, for what I have seen, each and every one of you continue to give back and serve. You serve in your communities in all sorts of different ways, and he's no different. But so yeah, it was like in that first few hours. I mean, we were on the phone for several hours that night, and he probably sent me 7 or 8 different events.
Mm.
Like, come to this, come to this, come to this, come to this, and we're doing this here and we're doing that there. And he invited me into the inner workings of the VFW post and to sit through it and just see how everything was done, introduce
Mhm.
myself to all of them, let them know what I was about. And um, funnily enough, it's the same post that Richard Fleek is on in.
Nice.
And so I've met Richard. And so I will actually kind of little sidestep, he will be on the show on the 14th of April. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's just kind of been trying to put myself out there,
Mhm.
which for me is completely outside of my comfort zone. I'm
Mhm.
not that kind of a person unless you poke the bear, right?
Right.
I mean, you're getting there, and you kind of are that type of person now, Missy.
Well, I'm this way because my kids. My
Mhm.
kids, and I want to ensure prior to them getting out of the military, they have those resources in hand
Mhm.
because I hear what veterans are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then I follow that line that the trouble that they can get into because they cannot mentally wrap themselves into this new civilian life with
Right.
ease. Now, it's easier for those who come back and then they go into reserve status, for example. That's easy because then they also have a job on the side, right? They've already got things going. So when they finally leave the military as a whole, they still have that job or
Yeah.
another job or whatever. But when you come straight out and you've got nothing solidified to
Mhm.
start, people are like, oh, I'm only going to take a year, right? I'm not going to do anything for a year. Well, a year is
It's a
plenty
lot
of
of idle
time
time.
to get yourself back inside that head of yours
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
start going through what everything.
Mm.
So, um, Killian has some stories, and I don't know if I told you. So he was part of the 2-1 unit in Pendleton that ended up deploying to Abbey Gate in Kabul.
Mm. I think you told
Now,
me.
yeah, and he did not deploy because at that time, his wife at that time, they had found out had stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
So he stayed behind, and his unit, the 2-1 unit, ended up getting detoured to Afghanistan, to Kabul.
Mm.
Mm.
And it was his unit. I mean, the majority of deaths were from his unit.
Oh,
So it was very personal for me because of the fact I looked at that could have been him, right?
right.
Absolutely.
And it was very resonating with me.
Mm.
And that was one of the pushes for Grant, for my middle son, to join the Marine Corps as opposed to the Navy, which is what he was originally wanting to do, because he saw what happened to his buddies, right? So that's why he followed. Um, it's just interesting, though, as I said, how everybody definitely has their own stories.
Yeah,
And
I was thinking that too, Rich.
yeah, so what did he
Mhm.
say?
Not necessarily easy for those in the RC or NG. Many of them struggle mightily to adjust to not just a civilian job, college, but now also a unit that they are the outsider in. It sometimes is just as rough, if not rougher, in transitioning.
Mhm. Good night, Ratman.
Good night,
Yeah,
Rat.
that's absolutely true, Rich. Absolutely.
Mm.
And again, I just want to make sure that we get the stories out. Um, the Vietnam veterans, of course, their stories will end before too long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what are we teaching our children if all of this becomes null and void in the history books, right?
Yeah.
Right. They're
They
taking
need to
things
hear
out
the
of the history
stories.
books already.
Mhm.
They are.
They
They're
need
already
to
taking
hear the
stuff out.
stories. They need to
Mhm.
understand because we keep repeating history.
Yep.
And it's going to get to that point where, because they've not experienced any of this, they've not seen it.
Right.
It was their great great grandfather or what
Hmm.
have you. So they're so far removed from any of it.
Mhm.
They need to hear the stories. They need to really know. No, it's more than just a matter of going overseas and shooting people up. That's not what this
Mhm.
is about, right? And to hear from those who served, hopefully it can provide that different thought process for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And you nailed it right on the head. The stories are dying. The Vietnam veteran stories are dying with each veteran that passes away. And that same thing with like World War II and
Mhm.
World War One. Those stories died with those veterans, and a lot of those veterans never told their story.
Right.
Exactly.
And we were talking offline. I forget who I was talking with, and we were talking about it was Big Chief out in Texas. He used to do the Bourbon Road podcast, and now he does the Whiskey Trip. And he sent me a Vietnam veteran senator. He's a senator, or he was a senator, and he flew over 1,000 combat missions in Vietnam. He got out of the military. He started a business, and then he's done all kinds of things. And then he became a senator. And I reached out to him because I wanted him on the show, because I wanted to tell his story, or him tell his story, because his history's dying with these guys. These are
Right.
these veterans that served. And for him, being a pilot, flew over 1,000 combat missions. Literally, if you read this guy's like background, you have been like, holy cow. And I guess I need to reach back out. I know they read my text message, but they haven't responded back to me.
Willis,
That
he
does
gets
happen.
his feelings hurt. You have to respond to Willis.
No, it's not that. I understand the guy. He's up in age.
Yeah.
More than likely, I think at the time, Big Chief said that he was on a vacation with his family. So he read it, and more than likely, when he got back to States, he didn't.
Forgot
He got busy.
Yeah.
Life happened.
Yeah, it happens. Look,
I
I
can
have
tell
to say
you-
hi to Don. If you're still watching, Don Schofield. He's the one. His favorite flavor is a Bud Light Blue. So hi.
That's
thank you
great.
for joining.
That's great.
But
I
no.
had a guest. Well, he wasn't a guest. I had gone to the local recruiting office, and some great people. I mean, my middle son couldn't have asked for better recruiters. And I said, "Hey, I am starting this channel. Do you know of any veterans?" And so they gave me this name of a veteran, a Vietnam veteran. And so I sent him a text message and told him who I was and what I was doing. And I asked if he wanted to come on the show. And he was very kind. And he said, "Thank you. And I appreciate you, thinking of me. However, I'm going to take this to the grave." And that was his response. And it was like, okay,
You have to
thank you
respect
very
it.
much for your service. Welcome home. And yeah. So, but I'm trying to make it a point also to reach out to each one of my guests and continue, on a regular basis to say, "Hey, how's everything going?" Because it's more to me than just, let's have you on the show. You can tell your story and, thanks, see you later. It's a matter of creating those bonds and keeping those bonds solidified, because they need to know that there are people not just within the veteran community themselves, but even outside of that, who care and appreciate all of the sacrifice and the service.
Right.
So, yeah, but that's kind of what's on my radar is doing that checklist and making sure that they, everybody is still doing okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little upset because she hasn't really reached out to me and asked me how I was doing.
She
I
has to deal with
haven't.
you all
You're
the
on my
time.
list. I haven't checked you off
No,
yet.
Look, he's fine.
I'm
He's
just
fine.
I'm just
I
teasing you
saw it
because
in your face.
You have to deal with him all the time.
we've talked several times since I was a
We
guest
have.
on your show, and
We have.
and now you're part of the tip of the spear, so we get to talk to each other quite frequently. And
Listen, Linda, she was talking about reaching back out to like one of her first
I know,
guests.
I know.
You just happened. Wait your turn.
Right? And I would look back and let me check something out, because I was curious how many guests I've had, how many live shows I've done now, because it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, I
And
was trying to look and see how many lives you did too, because I got your page up here.
let's see. It's almost like I gotta count them all.
Yeah, it's not broken down by
Go to
But it's in
content live. Okay,
yeah, but
so
Oh no, it's like latest, popular, and oldest. It doesn't even have all.
Yeah, you've had quite a few. I don't know how many total. I do know you got 129 videos total, but I don't know how many shorts you got and stuff like that. But
Okay, so
yeah,
I've had 26 guests.
okay.
26 guests, and then one where I had several of them come back on to help me celebrate my 100th subscriber. So
Nice, nice.
yeah.
No, so
And
yeah, you have 185 subscribers, 129 videos.
You're
And
almost at 200.
I know
yeah,
I'm super excited. I really am.
so I need to promote my YouTube channel a little bit more than I do. And I guess I need to, start streaming strictly on YouTube for a little while to build that audience base. But mine is it's growing organically. I think I got close to 100 subscribers right now. I
When I
haven't.
met you, you only had 60 something.
Yeah,
So
so it's growing.
yeah.
My Facebook group is growing. So we have a private group called HomeFront Sitrep. Then we have our public page, HomeFront Sitrep Podcast, and they're both growing organically, and a lot of it's word of mouth. And then with like Misfit Nation and your show and Triple Threat and I Am Pits, and all these other shows that we have incorporated and get to reach out to and. That's why I keep saying, make sure you please like and subscribe and follow. So like my listeners, they can go to your page, your YouTube channel and like and
Vice versa.
subscribe. So,
And he has a prettier co-host now.
Well, I didn't know the old one. I didn't hear very good things. So you're doing
Oh,
great.
well, just anybody. The men he's had on here, this is better. Hello. I'm really not that egotistical at all.
You know
but
what?
I do have to pump myself. Come on. I was
You're
trying.
fired. You're fired.
I did it before the end of the episode.
But no, Candace is an amazing co-host. Granted, we have like James Thornton. He comes on and does co-host as well,
I'm
and
a lot prettier than that.
Jr. Showalter. He comes on and he helps co-host and stuff like that. And then I bring in Al from Triple Threat Vets or Ty from Triple Threat
You have
Vets.
not named anybody prettier than me.
No, I
have to
haven't.
ask,
You're right.
so are there really only 3 on Triple Threat that
No, there's
there's
four.
four.
There's 4.
so yeah, so
know,
that
it's
throws that's what I
confusing.
thought. It is very confusing.
So,
But I guess triple
Hey,
is easier
look.
than saying quadruple.
well, there's a reason why. So
Well-
it's like the military: air, land, and sea.
But it also started with men. Sorry, I'm gonna do it. I might get fired twice on this episode. Just like you started out very scripted, like you got to do things in a little more of a womanly way, and you get somewhere farther. Sometimes
You're
That's
fired.
funny.
But no, so they kind of went with the military motto: air, land, and sea, the triple threat. As an American military, so that's kind of where the triple threat comes from, because you got 3 Navy
You learned
guys.
something new today, Candace.
Oh,
So that's kind of because I asked them the same thing. I was like, well, why is it triple threat when there's 4 of you? As one of the first questions I asked, like when I first reached out to Triple Threat on their page, and I wonder if I got that somewhere in my comments. But no, and then Rich, his is the Misfit Nation,
Right.
and
I've got Rich coming up in May, actually. Thank you, Rich.
nice. That'll be a great show with Rich.
Yep, I'm
He's
super
a wealth of
excited.
knowledge. So here, Rich is a double timer. So he did his time in the military, and now he's a civilian contractor for the government, training soldiers.
Okay, that sounds better. Double timing does not always allude
good
to a
one
good
for
thing.
her to talk to would be
Who?
Kev Trees.
Yeah, he was watching earlier.
Yeah, I saw him.
So Kevin Trees is a Marine Corps veteran. And I'll connect you. So Kevin Trees is a Marine Corps veteran. Then he was a police officer locally.
And then he was one of 2 in the nation at the time
above the knee amputee to return back to full duty as a police officer.
And
Wow.
now
he's exploring his musician.
And now he's exploring his musician side of life. He was on here earlier. He popped in. I don't know if he's still watching or not, but
he just released his first single.
He did. He just released his first
called Crown Pictures.
Yeah, it's called Crown Pictures. So
Wow.
you can follow him on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok at Kev_trees_music, I believe is what it's called.
Kev, are you still here?
He probably, yeah, and he just released a video for it as well. And I
I
tell
will
you,
check that out.
he's got, so he was on First 48, which if you know anything about Louisville Metro, one of the deadliest cities in the country. And then he also was in the movie as well.
He's in a lot of things.
So yeah, he's got a hell of a story, and you
have a personal connection with him? Because if not, I'll connect her with him.
I do.
Okay.
Okay. Kevin has been on my show twice.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. I knew that.
He was actually in studio here, sitting where you're sitting. So
Hmm.
he might be a little.
She still says she's prettier though.
I always threaten him that we're gonna have a fair fight. I just tell him he has to take that leg off because it's not fair if he has both legs. But no, like he's done like some like jujitsu and all of that crazy stuff. And I'm like, no, I know you only got one leg, but you're still.
No, Kevin's a good guy. I don't think he's been on any other shows. Matter of fact, Rich put in.
He did. He just dropped that link. Thank you for that.
He just dropped a link there if y'all want to check out Kevin Trees. Amazing guy, real humble, real down to earth.
Yes.
His story. He just won got Officer of the Year, and then 2 weeks later. And then 2 weeks later, he had a motorcycle accident, and they had to amputate above his knee.
Wow.
And he fought and fought and fought to come back to active duty as a police officer.
And he did.
And now he's out. He's out talking with other amputees, and like I said, like Candace said, he's one of two at one time that returned back to. So Rich said he was on Misfit Nation. That returned back to active duty.
He's a mess. He's a mess like all of them, but he's a great dude. He really is, and he's still out there like building ramps for veterans. Yep. Like he does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, super cool cat, man. I really like it. I really like him. Yeah.
I was thinking what we need to do. We're kind of spread out, right? I mean, you guys are in Louisville, I'm in Tennessee, you've got some Texas, Florida, etc. We need to come up with a central area and start like an annual gathering.
Atlanta.
Well, so there is like the podcast movement. They go all over the place. I think Rich might have gone to a couple. I know Adam Bird, he's real involved with, because like I said, he runs Heroes Media Group. Right. There's all these different podcast things that go on around the country. November 9th, I know we got that veteran. Our third.
Why are you promoting something else?
Well, it's our third annual veteran and first responder suicide awareness concert. We are bringing in Guinness Book of World Records here because we're trying to get the most veteran podcast broadcasted live from one location at that concert, which is Rick Ames. Which is Rick. Yeah.
Well, you know now.
You know now. It's November 9th.
I already have plans. I'm actually going to be in North Carolina with a group called Mind Overland. It's a
you
veteran.
You could be in the Guinness World Records.
I reached out to them, Mind Overland. He responded back to me one time, and then nothing after that.
After we're done, we'll talk, and I'll get who you talk to, and we'll get you hooked up.
Okay. You know what, Rich? You know where I think we should go? Now that I thought about it, not Atlanta. We all need to go to New Orleans. That would be a nice little meet, especially like with the drive from Texas. Like that would be a good place to go.
Yeah, we could do Narlands or hell, even Nashville.
I'm okay with Nashville. I'm not that far. I would be there within an hour.
That's like a 2-hour drive for us. Do you know how long that is from Texas?
I mean, same distance from.
Not from Texas.
Well, yeah.
It's like 18 hours.
Oh yeah, he might.
Think about it.
They can fly.
No, wait, Rich thinks that Nashville might be a good spot. Am I right, Rich?
I mean,
No,
Nashville's
look,
only 2.5 hours
Look,
from
Rich said hell yeah to New Orleans, didn't you?
Oh, was it New Orleans?
He didn't.
Was it?
Adelaide.
Hey, so
Hey.
right there, this lady here, I put her up here. She's with Lady Veterans Connect. She's a veteran, so
Nice.
you need to reach out to her
Oh, Rich.
and have her on your show.
Never mind.
Because her and Phyllis Abbott, they do amazing things with Lady Veterans Connect.
Yes, they do.
She's awesome. Adelaide Maddox is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, but Rich,
Awesome.
Nashville
Adelaide,
ain't
check
for
out
skunk
my
bakes and the rest of 'em.
channel, my Facebook page, Conversations with a Vet, and send me a message and we can get together.
Ooh, see, I like that too, Rich.
How cool would that be?
That would be cool. You
Yes,
know,
exactly. Would that not be amazing?
Am I rehired yet since I got fired twice? We
You're
go during
being
Mardi
yourself,
Gras.
Candace.
no, we ain't going during Mardi Gras. No, I won't do it during.
Excellent.
I won't do it during Mardi Gras.
Well,
But no,
whatever it is.
but
like,
yeah, we can, or
we can go have beignets and go to the World War II Museum.
or we can all go to DC.
no,
No.
that's-
No.
no,
No.
Come on, I'm just trying to think.
Mister, I don't like big crowds.
I don't.
Then don't be silly. I almost
Yeah,
told you something else. Where's your crayons? Go eat something.
Are
have
you
plenty
getting
of colors
hangry?
and choices.
No, I'm not getting hangry. I was just thinking going.
What,
up-
they have drive-through daiquiri places? What? We're going to New Orleans.
I don't know. My
Well,
wife.
you
My
can
wife
have a
would love it.
mocktail. You got to drive.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, you know what? We all should just rent a big tour bus and just travel the fucking country.
And Carolee can read a book for us.
I could do that too, actually.
What's it called?
All right, wait, hang on. I got you, Candace. The book to check out is The Perfect Fucking Life.
She covers her face.
She had a cover. I love it.
That is from Jason Lee Morrison, and he is a Marine veteran and Special Forces.
Yes. So we're going to go have the perfect fucking life in New Orleans with daiquiri drive-thrus at the World War II Museum while Willis is our designated driver on our party bus.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just something where it's great to talk to people and other like-minded individuals, and as well as veterans as a whole. But when it's time is limited, right? Because an hour, 2 hours, whatever the case may be, and then we don't talk again for for a period of time,
Right.
and it would be nice to set something up that is an annual thing, where we're all now starting to really mesh, right? And become almost one unit.
Yeah.
The way it's going.
Okay, so Rich LaMonica, remember I was telling you about Heroes Media Group earlier. So Rich is also part of there we go. So Rich is also part of Heroes Media Group as well, and he could tell you Adam Bird, he does amazing things. So
Good night, Michael.
good night, Michael. Tell Susan we said hello, and if you need anything, brother, you got my number. You can reach out to me. But so yeah, like I was saying, Rich is part of HMG as well, and Adam, what he's building there is amazing. You know, with all the different veteran podcasts that is underneath of his brand and stuff like that. And I think HMG does something very similar to what you're talking about, if I remember correctly. Rich can probably verify that a little bit more.
We go in like annual grassroots.
Yeah. We can figure something out.
HMG is more than welcome to attend.
Well, Adam's got to be there. I mean,
I mean, all of them. And I know, like I said, I mean, there is a ton around here. I did not realize, and I think you and I, Willis, had the conversation. Richard Fleek has like 3 podcasts. And so, yeah. I mean, I think it would be great because we're all collaborating together anyway. And to be able to sit down, and just really get to know each other.
Yeah. No,
Not
I
personally.
would agree with you. And now, would we leave kids at home?
Yes.
I
Yes.
Mine is old enough to be home by himself, so
yeah, well,
um,
mine
You might
are.
want to go with us. That's okay.
Yeah.
he'll be 8. Well, my youngest will be 18 in 10 days.
Oh, well, he can drive.
He could be the DD.
We need DD.
Right? I
Got a bunch of
oh,
crazy veterans and a
wait,
couple
who is
civilian
Chris
women. Like,
Lancia?
me too, Rich. Me too. Mine's 24. She'll. Oh God, she would be.
Well, so
Could
mine are 17 and 15.
you imagine Becca in New Orleans?
Oh God, no.
That would be the
But
life of the party, right
but
there.
I couldn't go to I couldn't go to New Orleans without my kids, because that's one of the places that they want to go.
I have never been.
Then tell them that
I've
you're going to
been
Nashville.
so I went to New Orleans.
I love how you
God,
try to say it like that.
when did I
Nolans.
go? 2001.
Oh, okay.
And we went during Mardi Gras. We stayed a block from Bourbon Street. Literally, we were in the Holiday Inn Express, a block from Bourbon Street.
Did you have beignets?
No, no. Oh, so yeah, I got him as a friend on LinkedIn. So yeah, I'll
Chris
reach out.
Lancia?
Yeah, so he's head of the Tennessee Veterans Fellowship with the governor, and just retired from the Army. I
Oh
think
yeah, that would be
'cause they
excellent.
just created, if I remember correctly, they just created a position for him, I think. If
Connect
I'm
us, Rich. Connect
Well,
us.
I'm friends with that guy
I know.
on LinkedIn, so
The
I can,
connections are good.
yeah. But I can definitely reach out to him and have him on the show, because I think I seen that show when you were live with him, Rich.
Well, he's not going to help us in New Orleans. What does he have to do with this?
No,
I thought
he's
he'd
saying,
be a good candidate for our shows.
yeah, he's saying he'd be,
Thanks, Rich. Stay on topic.
yeah, saying he'd be a great guest for our show. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Any
no,
guest is a great guest.
yeah, any group,
Mhm.
especially somebody who's out there helping veterans out there. He asked about who, me or Carolee. And
We're
then
all here with
Carol
bated
Lee, there's
breath.
another lady down in South Carolina. She runs the organization She's the Veteran. Her name is Brooke Kahn. So right now she's in Charleston, South Carolina, and then
You will.
all right.
You.
So I will definitely reach out to him, Rich, for sure. But her name's Brooke Kahn. So you might want to check in and message her.
She's the veteran.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's called She's the Veteran.
I think she'd like Dr. Larson too.
She's going to be back on our show June 6th, maybe, which is a Monday, I believe. It was
My
June
mind
5th.
doesn't go that far in advance.
Yeah.
But you knew November 9th.
I did, only because I know what that weekend is.
Yeah, it's Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
So-
going to be spending my time that weekend with over 150 veterans.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's what we need to do as veterans, is we need to go to these different veteran events and stuff like that, and connect and network, and that's kind of where, like, with networking with Rich and networking with you and Triple Threat and I Am Pits and the Decision Hour and the Oath We Took, that's what we do. And I love the group that we've built with Tip of the Spear. And it's just amazing because we're all like-minded individuals. Granted, some of us are
Passionate.
Yeah,
Very.
Oh, I was going to
passionate.
say token civilians.
but you're a mom.
I am. I'm a mom.
You
and
know
a
what
mom.
mom means?
Angry Sarge, welcome. Now,
Hey.
you want to talk about a really fun guest. Angry Sarge was on my channel. He came on. It was graciously accepted my invitation to come on and talk. Really great guy, and he's very passionate about what his time was like in the military. And so I will, if Angry Sarge is okay with it, I will share his information with you, Willis,
Yeah,
and
that'd
you
be
two
awesome.
can connect.
I've seen some
So,
of his shorts and I watched a little bit of his episode. I wish I had more time in the day to watch all these
Mm.
other podcasts that because
yeah.
like I'll pop on Rich's and then I'll pop on Triple Threats and I'll pop on yours and it's some of it's
So
just
can we get our schedules together?
I know, right?
I know, and your show on Sundays actually is the same time with my show on
Right.
Sundays. So some days they go a little bit earlier than 2
Yeah.
hours. Some days, 3. It
Yeah.
just depends.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
Angry
Mom
Sarge
and
is
what?
up for it. So I'll make sure to send you Willis his information.
Yeah, definitely. Send me his information. Carolee said it
So
earlier
what
in the
does mom
show.
mean?
What does mom mean?
Mother of Marine.
Well, I'm not that, but I'm a mom. So what's my excuse?
You're a mom with lowercase letters. She's a mom with uppercase letters.
Okay, so what's my passionate excuse?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're fired.
Third time's a charm. Look at that. First time ever.
No, I'm just kidding.
Fired 3 times.
But no, yeah, I'd love to have Angry Sarge on the show and let him tell his story and any other veterans out there. If you're interested, reach out to me at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. You can message me on Facebook underneath of either my private account, which is David Willis Jr., or you can reach out to me on the public page, which is Homefront Sitrep Podcast. We also have a private group that you can join as well, where we talk about a little bit of everything that's going on within our community here locally in Kentucky and stuff like that. It's a scary story. Angry Sarge, we all have stories and we all do it differently.
Mhm.
And if your story does this right here, let's see. If your story does that right there, helps one veteran at a time, then we did our mission.
Mhm.
Because it's all about, our focus is always one veteran at a time. If my story helps somebody, if your story helps somebody, if Grant's story helps somebody, or Killian's story, or Candace's story, or Rich's story, if we help one veteran today, then we completed our mission.
Yep.
So that's the way I always look at things. And then you always have to ask that next hard question as well. So
And I have to a shout out to Angry Sarge too, because he has been an absolute gem when it came to getting my shorts the way I wanted them. So yeah, it's been absolutely great. And he and his buddy have come out and actually walked me through different processes. So I know Rich had talked about Opus,
Thanks,
and
Rich.
that if you don't know what Opus is, we'll talk about that because I think that would be a benefit for you, Willis.
Yeah,
And
I use Opus. I think me and you talked
okay,
about that
yeah,
when
yeah.
a few times. Rich, have a good one, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. But yeah,
Bye, Rich.
I've used Opus. My thing is I'm a one-man show, so I work a full-time job. Well, now we're 2 people, so I need to get her
I mean,
more.
there is one man.
I need to get
but-
her. I need to get her more involved in helping with that, since she's our. So Candace is now the official new co-host. She's going to be a permanent
Ta-da.
co-host.
Yay! He got smart. No, I'm teasing.
Thanks,
so,
Rich. I'll take a look.
so I'm going to get her more involved with the back end, because I literally have a full-time job, and then I got 2 young kids. Yeah, so yeah, she's going to be my nerd, Angry Sarge. I'm going to make her my nerd. Now I'm still gonna
You got
do
any
the.
glasses I can put on?
I still need a nerd.
These are not
I
nerd
do not have a nerd. I need a nerd.
Goodness.
Yeah, these are hard to wear, man. I
Yeah,
tell
very.
you. Yeah, these are
You
real
look like a bug.
I know. But I'm still gonna do, like, create my own videos and stuff like that. But I'm gonna have her do, or I say videos, but I mean slides and stuff like that. But yeah, I lost train of thought there for a second. But I'm gonna have Candace, work the Opus clip and stuff like that that we have, and hopefully we can get more shorts out there. And my thing is I get so many minutes per month on the Opus. Like I pay, the free one I think was like 60 minutes, and then
Yeah.
I paid for the next package up, which gives me a little bit more. But most of my episodes are 2 hours long. So if I
Mine
do,
too. And what I did is that you shrink it down, like the beginning and the
Mhm.
end, you cut that out. So you have a time that you can say, I want you to look only from this point to this point, and those are the only minutes it looks at.
Okay,
So it it saves you some minutes on the
okay,
front end and the back end, and which is really handy. Now, I did have some issues not long ago because I think they had done an update, and I know I was telling Angry Sarge about it, that I was asking him, "Do you have any issue?" Because I think it was after they added the AI role
oh
where
yeah,
you could,
yeah.
and things just weren't working properly. So, but yeah, it is absolutely a really fairly seamless thing to do with Opus Clips. So, but that'll
James,
help you. Hey, James.
when
James, every Sunday and Monday. Every Sunday and Monday. We're on here at 7 p.m. And who did you try to call?
he called me at
Yeah, he didn't try to call me.
8:26.
So that's what he gets.
And then he called me back at 6:11. So
Mm.
I must have missed it because my phone was on silent because I was down here getting ready for a podcast.
He always
Uh,
comes in starting shit.
but yeah, I mean, I used Opus Clip several times. And
Yeah, you were supposed to call me the next day after we talked, mister.
well,
Because we got some issues to work
so
out.
James just bought a house. And I called him the other day. He said, "I'll call you back." Nothing.
Yeah.
I
James.
called him earlier today.
How about it?
He was leaving. I believe he was leaving Sam's, and he said, "I'll call you back when I get in the truck," because he was walking out of
Oh.
Sam's. I didn't hear nothing right back from him.
Well, the last time I talked to him, I called you right after losing my mind about the news that he gave me, and he was supposed to call me back the next day. How many days ago was that?
Yeah,
A few.
so there's been a few days, but so James right now he's bringing the Vietnam Traveling Wall and Cost of Freedom tribute to Shepherdsville, Kentucky, July 25th through the 30th. So if you're close by, whether it be in southern Indiana, southern Missouri, or Tennessee, if you've never been to DC to see the Vietnam Wall, that we're actually going to have it in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, not far right off of the interstate.
It's only a 2-hour drive for you, Carolee.
Yeah, we need to take some time to go. How long is it going to be there? Do you know?
July 25th through the 30th. So it's going to be here for
Okay.
5 days.
Yeah, the escort's on the 24th.
The escort's on the 24th. And right now, the last count that I remember, between motorcycles and Jeeps and
fire and police, and
it's
give us a number, James.
Like 400. Like 400 cars in the escort. And then he said, "Sure, it's a secret."
Yes, Angry Sarge, Shepherdsville, just 10 minutes outside of Louisville, just south of it.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles south of Louisville on 65. I'm in Mount Washington, which is south of Louisville, about 20 minutes down Barstown Road, and about 15 minutes from Shepherdsville.
Shepherdsville is literally parallel.
Yeah.
On 65.
Parallel to what?
Mount Washington.
You mean on 44?
Oh my goodness.
It does like a triangle. So you got Louisville, Shepherdsville, Mount Washington. So
It's okay. It really, I am geographically challenged.
It's men and their measurements. That's what it is.
Listen, she's about
okay. Speaking of measurements, so my husband was talking with some friends of ours. This was when we were in Montana, and it came up. One of the gals had made a comment about how did you come up with this or something, and my husband says, "Don't worry about it, Kathy. It's man math."
Yeah, right.
So I made T-shirts that basically said, "Don't worry about it. It's man math."
She needs to get with about your 6. It's man
Yeah.
math. Get you a
Mhm.
co-founded t-shirt.
Co-branded.
Co-branded.
Co-branded. There you go.
Yeah,
Speaking of, I know I need to get with you too about the t-shirts because I know you post about that. So I
Mhm.
need to see about for merch for my channel
Yes.
Yeah.
who to get in contact with. I know you
I
that
can
one.
I can send an email to you and Matt and Becky and get you guys connected and see what we can do about
Excellent.
getting you a shirt for your and what they do is they do co-branded shirts. And what they do is so they do everything. Like they make the shirt, they ship the shirts out. And then what they do at the end of the year, they give you 25% and you can do whatever you want with that.
Mhm.
Or or you can have them make the shirts and then and send them all to you and then you ship them out and all that. Then but you kind of lose money that way doing it that way. So um
But I know I need some shirts. I can do the white ones that
mhm.
are 65% polyester. I can do those.
Okay.
But when it comes to
You definitely need a co-branded with man math.
Man.
That's the
it
perfect
is,
one.
yep,
You
man
got two Marine boys. That's the perfect.
So we actually have a shirt on the website. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
We don't run triple threat, James. We don't know. Don't know.
What's that?
He wants to know if triple threat fired him.
No, you're still they matter of fact,
Oh, that's right, because you knew the schedule better
April 13th, you are on their show, buddy. So this Thursday, matter of fact.
Be
isn't
careful, Carolee. He's gonna know your schedule better than you do.
Well, that's okay. I need an assistant.
Yeah. That's
Uh
Ty.
Ty is a good I think it's the 13th. So this is same flag, same oath.com, got your six apparel. The co-branded shirts, if you go on to their co-branded shirts, you can see they got one for Project Zero, then you got the K9 unit, G300. Then you got this one right here. This is my favorite. This is Homefront Sitrep's co-branded shirt, Marine It Down. It's got Marine It Down and written in red crown. Then it's got the Homefront Sitrep logo here. It's got the same flag, same oath right there, and then on the back, it's got the got your six bullseye.
Look, we were just talking about trolls earlier.
Yep. So we got a troll. I don't know if that's yours.
Wow.
I don't know if that's on yours or mine.
That's a good
But
question.
if you go and you order this shirt here, what we're doing at Homefront Sitrep is at the end of the year when we get our 25%, we're going to take all the veteran service organizations from Kentucky. We're going to put them in a randomizer, and it's going to randomly select one of these veteran service organizations, and we're going to donate our whatever we get at the end of the year. We're going to donate to that organization. So go to sameflagsameoath.com, go to co-branded.
Oh, James is trying to figure out what he's missing. He can't see the YouTube.
Can y'all hear my dogs? Because my wife and them just got home and they're going batshit crazy up there.
It's not loud.
All right.
Yeah, that really is cool, huh? Angry Sarge. So you got to get yourself some of that too, and for
your
his
opinion
channel.
sucks. Here's my opinion: is anybody with alphabet soup name,
Yeah,
a fake name on YouTube that calls all United States military cowards? You are.
So this right here, I love trolls. I love trolls. All members of the United States military are cowards. You know, I fought for your right to say that. No, I fought for his right to say that, and it don't bother me. He has a right to his opinion, or she has a right to her opinion. She has a right to their opinion. I don't care.
That's right.
But that's the definition of a troll, is being on there and saying some.
I love trolls.
Things.
Trolls are awesome.
We've had the conversation, Angry Sarge and I, about that, and at what point, something along those lines, that's an opinion, and of course, the freedom of speech. But when it becomes,
I'm sorry, Carolee.
Sorry, I just read that. When it comes to, vulgarity and not conducive to the conversation at hand, that's when I kind of draw the line, right? I mean, because for what we're doing, it's not about any kind of political statement. That's not what this is. It's to give the veterans a place to tell their story and feel, for us, in my case as a civilian, to give my support and my thanks the only way I know how.
Right.
So yeah, it does get frustrating, and we've had that conversation of just how do I deal with that being so new, and Angry Sarge has been at this for a little bit and longer than I have, so when I get some of them, I'll call them up and I'll say, okay, wait, what would you do with this one?
I let the trolls say whatever they want because they really don't bother me.
Haters are gonna hate.
Because haters are going to hate. No, we didn't say you said anything vulgar. So I'm a close. Hold on. I'm a close quarter battle specialist of many years, and I'm giving my advice about the poor quality of the United States military and its men. I've done nothing wrong. We didn't say you did anything wrong.
Nope.
But you categorized
but you said every military veteran or every military personnel is coward.
That's a hell of an opinion.
I will tell you right now, that's a hell of an opinion. For you to say that somebody's a coward, I just don't understand because I've ran towards bullets coming at me.
Your opinion is wrong.
If I'm a coward, then I would be cowering behind a rock or a building and not running towards the gunfire that's coming towards me. And I will tell you right now, as a Marine Corps veteran, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for any civilian out there. All right. That's where you have a right to your opinion. And I fought for that right, for you to have that opinion. But to call out all U.S. military veterans and say we're cowards, I seriously doubt that you know who you're talking about. So
opinions are not fact. That's the great things about opinions, is that they're not fact.
And like they say, opinions are like assholes.
Oh,
everybody's got one, and they stink.
James, you're cracking me up.
James wants his number given.
So I don't know if APP3 or 4 or whatever, if he's watching on Carolee's YouTube or if he's watching on Homefront Sitrep YouTube. But thank you for coming on here and sharing your opinion.
Yeah,
thank you
right?
Thank you for coming on and watching and interacting and talking, because you're giving your opinion, fine and dandy. But I will tell you,
and that's the idea behind an opinion, right?
Yes,
right.
You have the right to disagree.
Yeah, you do have the right. James, I love you, brother. I love you. So here's APP. James Thornton served with the 10th Mountain, okay, during Operation Gothic Serpent. He was the quick reaction force that went in and saved the Rangers and the pilots during Black Hawk Down, otherwise known as Operation Gothic Serpent. But I had to dumb it down for you and say Black Hawk Down so you knew what I was talking about.
Because that coward was on the ground for 17 hours.
Because James Thornton, who was a coward, was on the ground for 17 hours in the most bloodiest and deadliest battle in American history.
What you got, APP?
So you being a close quarter battle specialist, I don't even know what. I mean, are you law enforcement? I mean, close quarter battle specialist.
I mean, this might be another
if you play
topic.
If you play Call of Duty, it doesn't make you. It doesn't make you a close quarter.
Carolee hears me. She knows.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry. Call of Duty, you actually got me beat, because I was thinking like, karate or something like that. So you got me beat. You did good.
Nobody's trying to defend anything, by the way. We're just not wrong. You are.
And hey, thanks for coming on here, APP. Isn't Black Hawk Down where the U.S. got their asses beat by a bunch of Somalia 15?
Closet. What's my daddy saying? Closet.
There's another veteran right there that's not a coward.
Yeah. Call my daddy a coward. I think, you know what? Come on, APP. Come to Louisville.
Now. All right, children.
No. See, that's where he wins. That's where he wins.
I don't know. He might meet a few people that aren't cowards.
No, you know what? I will, if he wants, he can reach out to me at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com and we will go have a beer. And I will let him sit there and tell me why he thinks American soldiers
Well, you're a coward.
are cowards.
Yeah.
And trust me, you'll come. However you come is how you will leave. I won't do anything stupid. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, bro. If you want to come to Louisville, Kentucky,
he told me no, and now
we can go have a beer. I'll have a beer.
Welcome.
I'll have a beer with you. And let you tell me why American soldiers, American military are cowards. Because in my heart of hearts, I signed my name on that dotted line to go serve my country to the day that I die.
Oh no, where
that oath will never end.
I'm not going
and
to
I will defend this country to the day I die. So most 99% of military members that I'm the name on this dotted line.
My daddy.
Okay, so you kind of froze up a little bit there, Willis.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Daddy, what do you? Daddy said many of us want to hear that. Hear what, Daddy?
Yeah, you're froze. I can hear you kind of sporadically, but you're frozen.
Good old internet. Good old Spectrum internet. Am I back now? Am I back now?
Yeah, it'll focus, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's good old Spectrum.
Oh, he's being a coward. He's trying to hide behind that smoke screen.
Yeah, I'm being a coward.
Oh, there you go. You're slowly getting into
there we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Angry
Sarge.
Sarge, you're probably right. McDonald's Wi-Fi.
But you know, the thing about it, I'm one of those that, you know, I try not to engage, right? That's who I am.
Yeah.
I want to. Don't get me wrong. I want to. But I also recognize the same thing, right? We're all entitled to our opinion. And what's the point? Because if they're that intent on disruption and disagreement, why even bother? Because you're not going to change their mind.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's kind of a waste of my mental energy.
No, I agree with you, and he has a right to, or he, she, whatever the hell APP is. They have a right to their opinion, and that's just like anybody out there that for whatever reason, whatever their focus is on, whether it be PETA or tree hugging hippies or whatever, they have the right to their opinion. Okay.
You fought for that right.
I fought for that right. I fought for his right or her right or he, she's or whatever they are. I fought for that right, and your kids have fought for that right. James has fought for that right. Marcus has fought for that right. Angry Sarge has fought for that right. And that's like with people talking about Colin Kaepernick when he was kneeling during the national anthem.
Yeah, get deep.
Or any athlete out there that has knelt during the national anthem. We as veterans fought for them to be able to do that.
And we agree with it? We don't, but we understand that was part of what you fought for.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of veterans get upset. A lot of veterans get upset because of that. Me, I fought for their right to do that. What did Angry Sarge say? Listen, here is the deal. He has his truth. You have yours. Opinion of, and him speaking his truth is important, but so do you. The reality of being a warrior is not allowance one. No, I agree.
That's that last sentence
Exactly.
right there. The reality of being a warrior is not allowing someone to disrupt your way.
Yeah,
That's
and
a great part. Is that APP hasn't disrupted the way. It just ruffles a little feathers, and it's good laughs for you and James
Right. I
and
think it comes down
later.
to it comes down to almost good entertainment.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Because when I do Opus Clip later, that's going to be in there. And I hope it gets a million views, but I don't care.
With Carolee in the background going, "A perfect fucking life."
Oh, that's definitely going to be on Opus Clip.
Yes.
I blame you, Angry Sarge. Just kidding.
Yes, I found this live stream in my YouTube recommended, and you have been talking about me for the past 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, you gave
And
us
we
great
have,
entertainment.
and we have, but it's a good conversation in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
right? Because it does allow for us to be able to have differences of opinion and allow for everybody to respond with their own opinion.
But we're still laughing.
Yeah, we're still laughing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
and
yeah, we appreciate the fact that you have come on and you've said what you believe to be your truth, as Angry Sarge says. It's not to say that I agree, but again, that's how you feel, and I am smart enough to know there is no point in me trying to dissuade you of that, because it sounds like you are very set in that way. So the fact that you took the time to come out here and put it out there is appreciative. So thanks
for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to both of our channels. I'm HomeFront Sitrep. She's Conversations with the Vet. Feel free to watch any of our shows anytime we're live. I'm live Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. She's live at Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And we're
also
back again
on
Mondays.
Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we have our Tip of the Spear last Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. Feel free to come on.
There's a shit ton of cowards on that one.
Speak your mind.
And I appreciate, make those comments. The only thing I ask is that you leave the vulgarity out, not to say that you were vulgar, because you were not, but just, a heads up, because any vulgarity I know in my comments are automatically gone. So, because that's not what it's about.
So feel free to jump on any of our shows and be the happy troll that you are. Because we love it. I love it. I love when I have trolls in my chat. I mean, it's awesome. So
I'm sorry. I'm watching you. Julie, come get your husband.
No, I love it. And we need to build a strong and safe world. My mind and opinions are open. I operate on facts and statistics.
Yeah, but you're not stating facts, buddy.
So APP, if I could ask, did you serve in the military? And if so, what branch?
And Call of Duty don't count.
Facts. Because I mean, it's certainly interesting. And if you served, are you in the United States? I guess that's the other question.
Oh, I am not an American.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So he sees things, most foreigners, when they come to the United States, cannot understand how patriotic the majority of us are.
Yeah.
Right. And we fly our American flag everywhere, on the back of our vehicles when we drive around, the fronts of homes. We wear T-shirts talking about our patriotism. And that's not, that doesn't include the 4th of July, right? Or Memorial Day or any other, holiday that celebrates or remembers our fallen soldiers and such. So, yeah.
I was
Okay.
disgusted
So,
with the obesity and cowardice of the men in America. I left as soon as I could. Just my
well, I hope you're happy where you're at.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you did what you thought was best for you, you thought that the American people was obese and cowardice, that's your opinion. And I will tell you that Americans as a whole, we, we, I am Chinese. My country has more fallen soldiers than yours, and we don't drool over
And
that.
that's, and that's the difference in culture. And so if you don't understand the culture, the American culture of regarding our veterans the way that we do, then it's difficult for you to understand. Now, I've hosted several foreign exchange students, and the look on their face when they show up, they pull into the driveway for the first time, and there's flags everywhere,
Mhm.
and there's all these different things that are American themed. They don't do that in most other countries.
Yeah.
Unless there's a civil unrest, and then all of a sudden the country flags come out,
Yeah.
right? So it's hard for foreigners to really understand why we do what we do, and why we support our veterans so much, and really the country as a whole. And in doing so, we do it with our flag.
So I want to respond to his last comment there. Our military is stronger and more capable because our military does not demand respect from our civilians. Well, here's where you're wrong on that, because we don't demand
No.
respect from our
Mm-mm,
civilians.
they don't.
Our
They
civilians
do not.
respect.
Our civilians just respect.
It's
Um,
earned. They
it,
have
it's
earned
earned.
our respect.
They demand victory on the battlefield, not on online debates. I'm a veteran. I've been out since 2004, and I'm not debating. We're not debating. We're having a civil conversation about our two podcasts and what we do for veterans in our community. But here's the thing: in China, your government kills babies.
Mm.
You're only allowed one kid at a time.
Well,
If
no,
you
it depends.
Is that
on
still
if it-
true, though? I think, did they raise
They,
that to
they said they
2?
took it away, but it's coming back. But regardless, at one point, like if you had a girl first, you had one more opportunity to have a boy. But if you had a boy first, you could no longer have any more children.
Right.
So I mean, it all comes down to perspective, especially from a different country. So China and us, obviously, APP, we view our veterans different. We view our military different. We view our
Right.
women different. We view our children different. Like, I mean, it's all perspective, and you can't judge another culture because our beliefs are different than yours. Me
And
as
on
a
top of that,
civilian,
too, the
Carolee as a
media,
civilian, we respect our veterans and our
right?
military service people. That's our
And
right. That's our opinion.
yeah, and media is different too, right? So,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
China has a tendency to keep a very tight rein on the media and what's put out there for its public. Here in the U.S., of course, they try, but that's only only in certain instances. But of course, there's so many. We're very strong when it comes to free speech and talking about however we care to talk, whatever we want to say. And it's a matter of being respectful to everybody and allowing them that, because that's what our veterans fought for.
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to saying we appreciate the fact that you feel confident and comfortable coming out here and sharing what you believe in, but just know that you may be believing in it because your data or the information that you've received and where you've received it from may not be as accurate as you think it is.
We know you're Chinese,
Look at
and
that.
that's awesome. I appreciate you, and you know what? I've been close to China. I've never been there, but I've met several Chinese people
Mm-hmm.
that love America.
I have great
I've met a
Chinese
lot of
friends. The
Chinese
one in
people. I
Mount
had
Washington.
some good
They-
Chinese friends, very, very nice
Oh yeah.
individuals.
So the first people the first job my daughter ever had was Joy and them that own the Chinese place up
Okay.
here.
Chinese.
So
Yeah.
they actually are a refuge for these women and their children from China who are trying to leave that country because they're not safe and their children are not safe, and they bring them in to give
Nobody
them
says you're the same.
a
We are
great
not the
place.
same. I can say I've never said China and the U.S. are the same. Have you
No,
guys?
no, me
Yep,
neither.
nope. So
But
okay, so moving on.
yeah. So upcoming guests, who do you got coming up?
So let me take a gander. Pull up my calendar here.
Well, she already had you. Do you really care?
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I ask everybody who's a podcast host who they got coming up. Even on the tip of the spear, we talk about it.
So on the 14th, I've got Richard Flake. I've got
What is? Never mind.
Matt Childers on the 21st. I've got Ed McLean on. He's Air Force on the
Warriors for
28th.
Racers.
What's that? Yes. Well, yes, exactly. And then let's see. I've got Rich on Cinco de Mayo. So on the 5th. And then headed into May. Of course, Mother's Day. I'm leaving that open. And then I have a Marine veteran on the 19th. So I know you'll have a show, I'm sure, on that day because same time, same bat channel.
Yep.
Okay, wait. No, scratch that, reverse it. But so that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm still filling up. I don't think I've got anybody scheduled. We're looking to do some moving. And I've got family coming in the week of the 5th. So it's actually going to work well.
Nice.
And so that'll be kind of open other than, not doing anything other than the 5th. So,
Oh, look who it is.
Hi, Ben. That's my buddy. I'm not from this planet. We talked about you earlier today,
yeah, we did.
Ivan.
We did.
And so, I did get your text, by the way. Thank you for that. But, we're just moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I've got.
So for me, next Sunday on the 14th, I got Gold Star Widow, Michelle Black, who wrote the book Sacrifice. She's coming on. I'm very excited about that episode. And then on the 15th, I have Operation Healing Heroes.
Oh, nice.
And then on the 21st, I got Mr. Ed. When did you say you had Ed?
Come on now. Hang on. Flip that around again.
I just want to make sure it ain't on the same day.
It better not be. No, we could do it together though. Ed McLean on the 28th of April.
Okay, so he's on mine the 21st.
Oh, look at that, the week before.
Yep.
Sweet.
And then on the 22nd, this is cool. We have American Legion Post 291 out of Newport Beach, California. They have that are the only American Legion in the United States that has a yacht club. So that's super cool.
Can we do that live from there?
Yeah.
I'm not a California fan.
My birthday.
Yeah, no. I will not.
Talk to Heroes Media Group. We need to be on site.
Have a good night, Sarge. Yep. Have a good night.
Yeah, he's saying have a good night to Ed. So appreciate you stopping in, App.
Yeah.
And then on April the 28th, Sunday the 28th, I got Cruise Custom Flags, which makes the bourbon barrel American flags that I have up here. They're coming on the 28th. And then on the 29th, I got Jeremy Kuntz, who is a realtor. So that rounds out April. Then we have our tip of the spear. We're going to do that on the 24th of April. And then May 5th. Why did I schedule something May 5th? God dang it.
I did too.
Well, so it's Kentucky Derby. May 5th is Kentucky Derby.
Really? Cinco de Mayo?
Derby's on a Sunday?
Oh, it's
on Cinco de Mayo?
No, it's on Saturday. It's the first Saturday. Never mind. So I got Hero Stock, which is I think his name's Jason.
I'm so confused.
I'm confused too. But Hero Stock is out of Nevada, and they do
Nevada. Long A.
Listen,
Nevada.
I'm a hillbilly coward from Kentucky.
I'm a Nevadan.
Oh, you're a Nevadan. All right.
I am. I was there for 29 years.
Oh man. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So Hero Stock, they do concerts, and they started in Nevada. And then they actually travel the country now. It started out as Vet Stock, and now it's called Hero Stock because they incorporated first responders in there. And then on the 6th, we got She's the Veteran. Miss Brooke Kahn is coming back on.
You're already going into May. That's a month out.
So Mother's Day, I left open because my mama is my rock. I've said that numerous times. And then my wife, I got to be able to, support my wife as well because she's the mother of my 2 beautiful children. On the 13th, I got Guitars for Vets, which is Groove and Tom.
I think I've sent them a message and I hadn't heard anything. So
well, if you want, I can connect you guys together.
Yeah.
And then I got Mr. Christopher Raymond with Veteran Hundo Club coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't checked out Veterans Hundo Club, what they're doing is something that hasn't really been seen in the veteran service organization world. What they are doing, so this is like 5 years in the making, and they just launched at the beginning of the year. What they've done is they've got veteran lawyers, veteran therapists, veteran business owners. They got everything incorporated into this organization. And what they're trying to do is if a veteran needs help with legal stuff, they got people on site. If they need therapy, they got people on site. I mean, and so Christopher Raymond, who is an Army veteran who now lives in South America, and then his business partner, Mr. Finch, he lives in the UK, in the United Kingdom, and they're trying to do a global service organization for veterans from all over the country or all over the world. They've got, a group started in Australia and other places as well. What they're doing is it blew my mind when they talked about it. It was like, holy cow. And then on the 20th, I got the Two Wolf Foundation, which is Brian Flynn with those guys. And then on the 26th, I'm excited about this one too. It's Beyond Boundaries. Beyond Boundaries, what they focus on, so they don't just focus on veterans, but anybody with like a
sorry, I was gonna say it, but he said it for me.
you're probably right, Angry Sarge.
I sat here.
Yeah, I think you're correct, Angry Sarge.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh my gosh.
Beyond Boundaries, what they do is, so like if a veteran is in a wheelchair, or if there's somebody with a disability, doesn't have to be a veteran, but they help these people get out in nature. Like they take them kayaking, whitewater rafting, rappelling, and all this. That's what Beyond Boundaries does.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then I end up the month with Nick Buss, Busse. He is the Veterans ERG leader for Leaf Homes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he started so when he joined Leaf Homes, they didn't have a veterans employee resource group. So he started that, and then he actually started a couple other nonprofits as well. So that ends up my May, and then I'm already scheduling in June as well. And but I'm not going to go into that far, but I'm pretty booked out. Doing two episodes a month.
A week.
Yeah.
I'm selfish.
I knew what he meant.
Yeah.
Well, 2 episodes a week. Yes. Sorry. I'm selfish in doing two episodes a week because this podcast helps me deal with my demons that I deal with. And like I always say, if I reach one veteran today and that veteran helps somebody tomorrow, then I succeeded at my mission. And like APP, you know, he came on here, so we'll see. But no, it's been great talking to you for these 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I know my wife and kids are texting and blowing my phone up.
They're starving.
They're probably, yeah, as I say, they probably want to see you.
I'm gonna bust.
Yeah, they're my belly's grumbling too.
I know.
So.
I've been drinking too much coffee, and it's like every time I'm like, oh, I gotta go.
But no, Carolee, it's amazing to talk to you and see your journey of, you know, being a mom of 2 Marines and dealing with.
Jesus. He's gonna be so much fun.
I just think you're the cat's meow there, Angry Sarge.
Yes.
Just so you know.
So Angry Sarge, do me a favor, send me an email.
Yes.
HomeFront.
I'll send you his contact info.
All right, cool. That'll work. Yeah. And then ITT there, if you want to send me his information too, I'll bring them on as well.
Yeah. So ITT. So Ivan his podcast is a Second Amendment podcast.
Oh, the 2A. Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love.
As far as I know, Ivan is not a veteran, but it definitely respects them. And
I'm a Second Amendment guy, so the only sticker on my truck is a 2A sticker on my truck. I don't even have a Marine Corps sticker on my truck. I just got a 2A sticker on my truck. So I love my guns.
There you go.
But yeah, I'll have him on. We can have a good old time. I can have him and Angry Sarge on at the same time.
Yeah.
And have a hell of a show.
There you go. There you go.
Not today.
So, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so very much. It's always great to get on here with you guys. And I'm looking forward to Tip of the Spear. So that is going to be on
the 24th.
On my best behavior.
The 24th. You're going to be on your best behavior.
I'm going to try.
We're going to keep it positive as much as possible.
And I'll be streaming that also to the channel Tip of the Spear on April 24th. So if y'all want to jump in the chats, that would be great. And yes, Angry Sarge is almost at 500. He's also a 2A podcaster. So he's almost at 500 subs. So congratulations. You going to do giveaways? I'm really excited for you, Angry Sarge.
Heck yeah. The 500
subscribers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I remember when ITT, when I'm Not From This Planet, only had a couple hundred, and now he's over, what are you at, 26,000 or something like that?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I do a 2A podcast on Facebook, because I know Triple Threat, they had a gun at the beginning of theirs on Facebook, and they got shadow banned on Facebook. They can only do it on YouTube. So I wonder if I'd have to do that one on just YouTube only. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can and cannot show when it comes to handguns and rifles and such. And I watched a short. It was actually a Facebook thing that Jason Morrison had put out there that was quite interesting. But I was surprised that he was allowed to do it. So it was just how to unholster your sidearm, right? And and he was talking about, the position of your elbow, and which really makes a difference. If you like tuck the elbow way in, like completely in, then your hand is, when you pull up immediately, it's exactly where you want it. It doesn't like maneuver around. But if you have your elbow out, then you're bringing it this way, and it's all over the place. So it was quite interesting to see, but I was surprised that that Facebook had let it be published. So
we'll just have squirt guns that day.
Yeah, Facebook is very
Nerf guns.
Oh, I wonder airsoft guns.
No, I wonder. No, they look too real.
They look too real.
We can have Nerf guns.
If I bring my Barrett 50 cal, you think that I would get banned?
Willis.
It might be too big for the screen though.
Angry Sarge.
Question for Angry Sergeant Ivan. so American Freedom Fund, they have their patriotic shooting team, and they go around the country and they do shoots at different ranges and stuff like that. And they want me to come do a live at their. Do you think I would get banned on? What are you doing, bro?
I'm talking to Carolee.
Oh, she's texting you,
No, I'm not.
Okay.
or she's private chat. Your mate.
Look, keep
Got it.
talking. We're talking.
But anyway, not. So if
No, I love Asian food.
so that YouTube will ban me on a live. What if it's not a live? Like let's say if I record it and then.
They'll just take it down. Let's just use Nerf guns, you dummy.
Well, not if I'm at a range and they're
We
doing
can make
shoots.
guns out of crayons.
Okay, so shut
Did
me
you say
down.
out of crayons?
Yeah. They make bikinis out of them. Why can't we make a gun out of them?
Okay, this is more than I think I really want to know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just get on Amazon and look, or on Google and look up
It's like
a
the web-
marine bikini.
So
and it's made out
recording
of
is good.
crayons.
So if I record the podcast on at the live fire range, then I can post it. Sorry, I'm carrying on a conversation with.
Yeah, so it looks like if you show the live fire, then yes.
I mean, I see people shooting guns all the time on YouTube and stuff, so that's why I was wondering how they go about it, because they wanted me to do a live broadcast from the range. But I guess if I do a live and not show the live fire, I guess
You might still be pushing some red tape there.
lives will get you shut down. So
Yeah.
recording is good, but lives will get me shut down.
Yeah, and there might be some, I would assume maybe some specific editing between any firing and any actual.
Yeah. Might have
Yeah,
to
I
pause it. Might have to pause it or whatever. During
Well, I think that's where you would just jump in and use, your editing tools.
Yeah.
Well, Carolee is going to connect with them, so
Yeah.
you can have this.
Yeah, we'll have
more
that conversation
detailed
when
conversation about figuring
when
it
I have
out.
both fingers started.
Ivan, I'll get with you if you're okay for me to share your info with Willis. And that'll get you guys connected. I know he's, as we said, Willis being a Second Amendment also. So
Yep.
And Angry Sarge already gave the thumbs up for that. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody that's on chat and watching on both channels, Conversation with the Vet and Homefront Sitrep. If you're out there, if you haven't followed my channel on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, you can go to either one because I'm live on LinkedIn as well. Go make sure you go like and subscribe to both channels. Follow the Facebook page, share it with your friends. The more veterans we can reach, the better.
exactly.
So definitely make sure you go out there and like and share. Miss Carolee, thank you again for coming on here and hanging out with us. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I can't wait to see you on the 24th again. For the tip of the spear, make sure you bring some topics this time and stay away from the VFW.
Hey.
So Angry Sergeant at Homefront Sitrep here. I will, let's see. Let's go.
Pop that out in the chats for him. And
I'm getting ready to pop it out there now.
And Ivan, great guy, very animated. So definitely will fit in with the group as far as our sense of humor and such. So Angry Sarge, same. Really some really great people out there in the chats, I have to say. So
yeah, it's been good, Carolee. I love it. You know why? Because there's this great book that Carolee can tell us about.
Oh, you want to hear it? No.
She said no.
She said no. She's not gonna let you.
Which is why it was so great.
I know. Yeah, and I do. I support him. Maybe I should only do it like once a show, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to order it.
Look, I got fired 3 times during this podcast, so.
Well, the fourth one was silent.
You recanted it.
Just post the link to the Homefront Sitrep in the chat there, and then on Facebook you can just search up Homefront Sitrep podcast.
Share Conversations with a Vet for our followers.
Yeah, let me go back to conversations.
You want me to put it out there?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you got it already. But yeah, definitely go. Thank you, Sarge, and I'll follow yours as well. And same with Ivan. I'll follow yours as soon as we're done here. But yeah, thanks for everybody coming on here. If you've been on the chat earlier, and if you're still watching now, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us and sharing good story. APP, I want to say thank you for jumping on. How do you say that in Chinese? I wish I knew.
Have a great work week.
Hopefully everybody's week is awesome. And like my buddy says, Scott Blake from Triple Threat Vets, show up tomorrow because somebody's expecting you to.
Uh-oh.
You're in trouble now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Scott says, always, DJ Royalty says, show up tomorrow because somebody's expecting you to show up. You are enough. Look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I am enough. Somebody does love you. Somebody does care about you. Always ask that next hard question. Carolee, thank you again for coming on here and hanging out. Angry Sarge, Ivan, James Thornton, everybody that's been on here, thank you.
So many good ones tonight.
I know.
Y'all rock. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll be seeing you.
And like I always say, stay safe out there. And we got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.